everybody, and welcome to Time Out with Kevin Gallagher. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm, of course, your host, and we got another really great guest for you. And we're going to spend the next hour with Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez. And before we get to our guest, we're going to get some of the show's business out of the way. And hey, as you know, I'm Kevin, and we've been doing this show now a little over 26 years. So you can catch all the past episodes, for the most part, on timeoutyoutube.com. That's timeoutyoutube.com. And you can find the whole assortment of programs there. We also play the audio only of these shows on the Truth Be Told radio network. And that you can hear Friday nights, 9 p.m., or there's times we will also play those at 7 p.m. on Mondays. So you'll be able to hear these shows there. And you can find this on our Facebook page, our Twitter feed, our YouTube page, Twitch, you name it, all these different social media outlets where you can find copies of this show. So, hey, Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez is the founder and he is the director of the BioCare Hospital in Tijuana, Mexico, one of the finest medical facilities in the world. And he has a show on the Truth Be Told radio network that's on the air 7 p.m. on Friday nights, and then at 9:30 on Saturday mornings, where the Friday show is replayed. So if you miss it, you get a chance to hear it Saturday morning. So all those times are Eastern, and I wanted to say welcome, Dr. Rodriguez. It's good to see you. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, Kevin. Good to be with you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we just did a roundtable for the radio network on hypertension, also known as high blood pressure, and how it is, in fact, excuse me, the silent killer. And so I thought we'd continue that conversation here today for the benefit of the viewers of my TV show. I thought the roundtable discussion that happened there a couple of days ago was absolutely fascinating. An incredibly intriguing subject, one that probably we could sit here and talk about for hours. But give us a little background first about who you are, who is Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez, and then let's jump right into the subject matter, shall we?
Okay, yeah, I'm Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez. I'm medical director of BioCare Hospital, and we have been here actually in this facility since 1985. Although as a group we started working like 10 years before, 1976. And we were a group of people that were very interested in complementary, integrative, or alternative medicine, as it used to be called at that time. And I belong to the type of doctors that's not completely satisfied with the way we do medicine today. I don't like the results many times of medical care. I think we could do a lot more. And I don't have to tell you, you just have to talk to people around you to see how many dissatisfied people we can see. There, of course, those people that are very happy. We have some great doctors, great nurses, people that do it because it comes out of their heart. But for many people, unfortunately, it's becoming more and more a job than anything else. It's not anymore a quest, it's not anymore a mission. And that, of course, takes its toll in this service, in the quality, in how you feel. But also, the other problem is that we were believing that we could scientifically conquer medical care, and we know much more each day, and we have all these publications in the most prestigious medical journals, and they tell us about this and about that and about the other, and supposedly we should see that illness is disappearing out of the face of the earth. And sometimes we can control things in a very dramatic way. The way, for example, we handle infections today is very difficult, very different than that from what used to be. Infections actually were the big killer in the last century, or the one before that, the 19th and 20th century, until we discovered antibiotics. And when we discovered antibiotics, we saw that deadly diseases could be very easily controlled. And we jumped to one of very simple solution or to a very simple formula. If there's a disease for which we have a drug that's going to destroy it, I got it made. I can have my fun, have my cake and eat it too, and do whatever I want. Because if I ever get sick, all I need is a prescription of that pill that's going to cure me. And unfortunately, none of that is really true. What has happened over the years is that we learned that the fantastic leapfrog advancement of antibiotic discovery has not been followed by many other things, and so we have all these diseases. And what is worse is that a lot of the diseases that we're looking at are diseases that are self-inflicted.
Hmm.
What does that mean? It means that we are doing a lot of things in our lifestyle, in our daily routine, in our daily activities that is being proven to be very damaging to the integrity, to the functionality and everything of our body. So we're falling prey to diseases that are originated within ourselves. They are self inflicted. And in saying that, we also have to make a positive note. If I am the culprit of a lot of my health problems today, I might be the answer. And that is what I have been talking about in my radio show in Truth Be Told Radio Network every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we discuss all these subjects in from many angles and about many diseases. But the important thing is that in spite of all the advancements of medicine, uh, the majority of people, this is 7 out of 10 of people that die today, are going to die because of a self inflicted disease
Yeah.
and something that is inequivocal. Okay, don't make no mistake. Don't think about it. Don't think, well, might be yes, might be no. No, no, no. This is very serious. These are in a diseases that are inequivocally tied to our lifestyle, to those things we eat, to those things we do, to that type of physical activity that we have, etc., etc., etc. So it is really bad because the numbers are staggering.
Yeah.
Diabetes is advancing at huge steps. As if we continue to advance with diabetes at the speed we go, well, by 2050, and this is only 30 years from now, most Americans, I mean, 80-90% of them are going to be diabetic or pre-diabetic. Right now, it's 50%. Is half the population is either diabetic or pre-diabetic. And those are numbers that are absolutely astounding because only 50 years ago, the figures were very different.
Hmm.
So it means that, yes, this is something that we have been doing to ourselves in the last half century that's turning our health pattern completely upside down. Is distorting all our health plans or our well-being, and with that goes money and suffering and discapacity, etc. So what we need to do right now is to reassess things, and that's exactly where we're coming from. We created a hospital where we could control lifestyle. How you control lifestyle? To begin with, by choosing the foods you eat,
Hmm.
by cooking them the way you should do them, by learning about your body, by learning about detoxification, by learning about inflammation and anti inflammatory strategies, by learning about oxidative therapies and oxidation and oxygen therapies, etc., by learning about stem cell therapy and restoration of tissues. In other words, by going back to the drawing board, because everything that I have just mentioned has been always available to us.
Hmm.
We did it all the time. If you go back to the beginning of the 20th century, to the early 1900s, you're going to see that if you open a book in medicine, you're going to find a lot of things to do when you have a disease: what to eat, what to do, bed rest, etc. A number of situations that would only take care of your body, so your body can withstand and face the challenge that is being put before it. If you don't help your body to be healthier, stronger, more resilient, and so on, whatever disease that comes around is going to annihilate you. And we have seen it, unfortunately, in the last few years
Yeah.
with the COVID 19. With the COVID 19, we saw that many of our friends, many people around us, died because of a viral infection.
Hmm.
And that viral infection could kill a lot of people because it was a systemic inflammatory disease. And those that could not fight it off, those that could not resist it, succumbed to the disease. People died because they didn't have the resources to fight the disease off or to navigate the period of illness. So this is a hospital where you put together all those beliefs and allow me to say it in a very successful way. Because I many times tell my patients, don't believe me, don't say the doctor is right. In these times and this age, we have one, to me, fantastic tool. I tell my patients just get a selfie every day and then put it in line through the time that you have spent in the hospital, and you make a real close up. Look at your eyes, look at your eyelids, look at your face, look at your complexion, and you're going to see how all that starts to change. Because if you walk around, if you look at people, if you go to the supermarket and look around, you see that people are swollen. You see the puffy eyes, redness in the eye. You see problem for people to move around. Uh, Not to mention, of course, the very obvious, like overweight, obesity, dysfunctional ability to walk and to move, mobility problems, and swelling, a lot of things that you can let people around. And the important thing is that everything you're looking at has a remedy, has a way to be counteracted. If only that person decided to say, stop it, I'm going to make lifestyle changes, I'm going to start eating in a different way, and so on. If you're at the market and you're looking at what I say, look at the basket, look at what these people are buying.
Hmm.
And they're probably going to be buying a lot of processed foods, ultra refined products, things that might taste good but that are definitely harmful. So people don't buy food anymore. I mean, you don't see their carrots or a whole chicken, or let alone grain fed and free range. No, that doesn't exist. That you have to go to a boutique
Yeah.
type of place to get that type of meat. But what you're going to see that they carry is probably packed, canned, processed foods. Now, there we have to understand that the food industry is not after your well-being. Is not worried about your health. Uh, they're worried about two things: getting your money and being profitable. And by being profitable, I mean this is, I'm going to give you the least I can for the most money. That's what the
Because
word
we've seen packages
the
shrink in
really,
size and the
really
price.
means.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. So I remember I was once invited to a TV show in South Bend, Indiana, and in driving to the place I was listening to to let's see broadcasting on the radio, and I saw a person. I heard a person talking about something that really made a good stuck to me, and he was saying, uh, "Get this very clear: nobody gives you nothing for nothing.
Yeah.
Everything you do is going to cost you something. Nobody gives you anything just because." People tell me, "But doctor, I buy this food because it's cheaper, it's more affordable." I said, "Yeah, because it's lesser quality, it's much less of a nourishment. It might even be damaging." Why? Because the industry cares for their profits. They're not going to give you good food at a great price.
Oh yeah.
That's not what they do. That's not how they survive. They're going to give you the food they can for the best price possible for them. So you can think that you're getting a bargain. Think again, you're not getting a bargain. Many people say, "Doctor, but I cannot go and buy salmon. It's very expensive." I said, "Yes, you can. If you eat less amount." Because the other big problem in our society is that we eat a lot more than what we actually need. When you really think of how many calories your body needs, particularly in this time and age where we hardly move, where we don't do anything, where we don't have to chop the wood, we don't have to go to the well to get a bucket of water and bring it up, when we don't have to clean the house nearly every day, when we don't have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to milk the cows or to feed the cattle and so on. We don't do anything. We just, our morning exercise is to press on the alarm clock, and that's it. And then your next work is to shower, and you get exhausted because you took a shower. You get dressed. End of the story. That's your everyday morning exercise. You shower and getting dressed. Then you sit and eat. Then you sit in a car and drive. Then you sit in the office and do nothing. Then you sit in the couch and watch TV. Then you sit for dinner and then you go to bed. We didn't
Right.
do any exercise, but we eat as if we had gotten up at 5 o'clock and fed the cattle and milked the cows and pick up the eggs, etc. We work as we eat as if we were actually working, and by working I mean physically working. No, we don't do any of that. So we have to take to consider in our brain. We have to think of this. You have to think of it every day, every time of the day, every time you have a little bit of time for yourself. You have to think of it. What have I done today that demands energy? Well, not much. Well, then I'm going to eat less because I want to keep some sort of a caloric balance. If I'm not doing too much, I'm going to eat frugal. I'm going to eat less. If I'm when I'm doing a lot of things and then I had to do this and do that and lift things because I work, let's say, with a delivery company and I have to bring all the boxes and take them out. Yes, you can afford to eat more, but there you're keeping a caloric balance again. That's a matter of thinking. What is my physical activity? What might be my calorie consumption? And I'm going to eat accordingly. I'm going back to the COVID 19 epidemic. I saw many people that I saw gaining weight during
Hmm.
the pandemic. And I said, "Well, you're in way gaining weight." And the excuse was, "But doctor, because of the pandemic, I cannot go anymore to the gym." Well, if you're not going to the gym, why don't you eat less? You see, in other words, if I'm going to be, for whatever reason, restricted from physical activity, then I need a lot less food. So, and that's something that nobody is going to show you how, nobody is going to tell you about it. This is something that we have to think. for our own benefit and make that decision, because the overwhelming amount of calories is going to bring a problem that we already have very seriously in America.
Hmm.
2/3, this is 2 out of 3 people, 2/3 of Americans are either overweight or obese. Now, if you have an overwhelming amount of obese people or overweight people, that tells you a story. And every time I talk to a patient, every time I talk to people, I say, listen, I don't have anything against you being plump or fuller or anything like that. I really don't care. I don't think it's a matter of cosmetics, but it is a matter of health. Why? Because when you are overweight, the only thing I can tell you as a doctor is that you're giving me a story. I mean, I can read a story. When I see a person that is 200 pounds, I don't have to look at the blood work. I don't have to look at the medical history. I don't have to look at x-rays or anything like that. I know you're doing things wrong. If you're 200 pounds and you're 5'10", you are doing things wrong. And I have to go then and find out why that happened and how we can control it and how can help you. Yes, you might have a thyroid problem. Yes, you might have a metabolic problem. Yes, you might have, but that comes afterwards. But if you are so many pounds heavy,
Hmm.
then I know you are doing things wrong, because overweight didn't come from the outside. I have people that tell me, "But doctor, I hardly eat. I don't eat too much." I say, "Well, that weight is coming from somewhere."
Hmm.
And I have had this argument over and over again. And many times I tell people, "Look, all I know is that during the Holocaust, with all the people that were in those concentration camps, there was not one that gain weight.
Right.
So if you don't eat, you lose weight, period. If you cannot lose weight, if you're not losing weight, if you have problems with that, you're eating more than what your body needs. And you cannot use your fellow neighbor or coworker as a model, because you might think, but I eat less than he does and he's slim. Well, he might have a different genetics. He might do things that you don't see. He might get home and wash the car or mow the lawn and do things we don't do. In other words, he has a better and more positive caloric balance than we do. So what you have to do is say, okay, I'm different, and I don't have to look at my neighbor to see what I should eat. He can eat whatever he wants. I'm going to eat whatever I need. Now, as we gain weight, there's going to be a number of very important consequences, and all of them are metabolic. We're going to change the way. By metabolic, I mean we are going to change for the worse the way our body works. If I'm overweight or obese, there are a lot of things that are not going to function well, period. Number one, I'm going to have a chronic inflammation, because excess calories brings a chronic inflammation. Second, I'm going to be creating circulatory problems, heart problems. I might have high blood pressure. I might have heart problems, because that food that I'm overeating is going to go to my liver, is going to go to my blood, and it's going to cause a problem. I might have a lot. Let me give you one example. You know that vitamin D,
Hmm.
that I have been touted very much as a great thing of our time. Again, with COVID, we discovered that people with high or good levels of vitamin D, D as in David, were doing a lot better than the people that were low in vitamin D. Well, they started doing a lot of work and research and so forth, and they say, no, it's not that important. When you look at the numbers, really, vitamin D didn't make such a big impact in people's health. Okay, well, those are the numbers, period. You cannot argue with numbers. But then they looked again at the numbers and they discovered that the numbers didn't look good because a good part of that population didn't respond well to vitamin D, but others did respond well to vitamin D. What was the difference? Overweight.
Okay.
People that are overweight do not respond well to vitamin D. Like, for example, let's talk about cancer rate. Well, if you are overweight and take vitamin D, nothing happens. If you are normal weight and take vitamin D, you can reduce cancer possibility by 24%.
Hmm.
One out of four people. And those are very good numbers.
Yeah,
But you
it's
can
very good.
be under a good weight control. If you are overweight, you get insulin resistant, which means that your insulin cannot work anymore to bring carbohydrates and other substances into the cell. That's
Hey,
bad.
Dr. Rodriguez, real quick, I got a question that came in here in the live chat, and I wanted to ask you very quickly. It says, can you consume something that will speed up your metabolism, like green tea or spicy foods? And maybe I'm thinking they're asking maybe if it has to do with, say, losing weight. If I'm wrong about that, just let me know and I'll correct that. But that's kind of what I think you're getting at. Can you consume something that will speed up your metabolism, like green tea or spicy foods?
Okay, that is a very good question. It is a very good question because it brings all us back to the fact that what we're looking for is a magic bullet. If I do the same thing I keep on doing, and I take green tea or coffee or whatever, I don't need to do any effort. Uh, the answer might be a tiny yes. When you have, for example, green tea, you can induce a little bit of higher caloric consumption. But if you want to really increase your caloric consumption, it's very easy. Walk around the block, go upstairs and down. And if you do it two, three, four times, going upstairs and downstairs in your house, just go up and down, all of a sudden, and it's going to take you about 15 minutes when you're going to start feeling warm. You're going to need to get off your jacket. You're going to feel that the heating is very high. You're going to start feeling uncomfortable because you are hot. So you open the window and so forth. If you that is 15 minutes. If you pass 20 minutes, you're going to break a sweat. That means you are burning calories. That sweat is telling, yes, you're going in the right direction. So I tell people, go around the block, do some sort of exercise. You and some people do things as dumb as the following, and it's been proven to be good. You get you hold your handrail, so you make sure you're steady, and then go up two floors, down two floors, up two floors, excuse me, steps, two steps, two steps, two steps, up and down, up and down, up and down, and you're going to feel how you start breathing deeper.
Hmm?
That means you're consuming a lot more oxygen, and all of a sudden you're going to feel hot, and after some time, which is around 20 minutes, you break a sweat. just a tiny little bit of humidity in your forehead. That means you're doing it right. And just keep doing it for another 15 minutes and stop. If you do that, you're going to be raising your metabolic rate very dramatically. And if you do it every day, you're going to start losing weight even if you don't do anything more. Now, talking about things that could improve your oxygen consumption, just like uh, green tea, we could talk about chili pepper. Very hot chili pepper can help you to do that. But that is not exactly what you have to do. When you do a little bit of exercise, you do a lot of things. You increase your insulin sensitivity. Now, I was talking about insulin. Insulin not only means that you have a good uh, supply of energy to these cells. Remember that insulin is a hormone that promotes growth. So if you want to have good muscles, I mean, as we age, we all worry about muscle quality because after you pass, let's say, 40 years old, you're going to start losing muscle mass. And the best way to keep it is by doing some physical activity because that increases insulin sensitivity. And insulin is the hormone that can do that true. That's why you see many people that are very old and they say, well, he's 80 years old and he still could run a marathon. It's the other way around. He he is in good shape because he runs. Forget about the marathon because he has an important physical activity. He probably trains once, two, three times a week for that running, for that marathon. So if you, the more you do it, the stronger your body gets because of diminishing of insulin sensitivity. The only thing that has proven without any question that can lengthen your lifespan is exercise, is physical activity. So start planning on it, start thinking of it, and that can change your life. Because then, if we are diabetic, if we are obese, and our kidneys do not function well, and our heart and vascular tree is not in good shape, a lot of things are going to begin going wrong. And the most important part of these problems is that many of them are completely silent. We don't see them, we don't feel them, we don't notice anything. It doesn't hurt. You don't have a pain in your heart. Your heart will never hurt until it has a heart attack. uh, so uh, High blood pressure, you won't feel anything. So you have to be aware, you have to be vigilant, you have to know that, okay, at least once every 6 months, I'm going to have my blood check and my blood pressure check. I'm going to check my sugar level. I'm going to check all this. But the best thing I can do is I can make a plan where I'm going to say, this is my plan for every week. This is my
Yeah.
physical activity. This is my food plan. This is my everything. And if you start putting all that together, then it's going to be easier and easier. And I invite every one of you and everyone listening to send me an email, to ask me a question, to say, Doctor, what if I eat this? What if I eat that? Just like the question of this listener about tea. And I'm going to try to give you the best answer. And I hope I can inspire you to say, I'm going to start doing something for my body because I want to be healthier. Now, many people tell me, why do you advise people in order for them to get healthier? If you're a doctor, you should be making your living out of looking at sick people. Well, the answer is very simple. Looking at ill people is not fun. Even in the best of the cases, you suffer with your patients. But when I look at a patient that or this happens to me very frequently. I see a patient and I see the wife or the husband or the children, and I said, "Is that your son?" Yes. I think we could start doing something for him because he's going in this direction. I think we could start today in getting more prevention. And
Yes.
when you start doing that, you see how people improve. So you still have your clientele. You didn't lose clients. You might even get more, but you're looking at fantastic results. And that
Yes.
makes me very happy.
Now, what are some things that people can do when it comes to hypertension, also known as high blood pressure? Because I know it's called the silent killer. What can they do? Because there may not be any symptoms or anything like that they're aware of yet. There could be things percolating under the surface that they're not even aware of. So, what's some best strategies that they can do to address anything that could be going on, or even if it isn't, what is still a best strategy to use for this type of condition?
It has to do with lifestyle. It has to do with lifestyle because I have seen people with high blood pressure that took it very seriously, that started making the changes that they had to do, that changed the way they ate, started their physical activity patterns, and so forth, and they saw a difference.
Yes.
And the more they adhere, the longer they stayed on programs like this, the better they were. There is a book that I love a lot. I like it a lot. It's called 30 Days to Natural Blood Pressure Control. And is by Dr. David DeRose. And you can look for it in Amazon or any source that you want. Again, it's 30 days
Yeah.
to natural blood pressure control. And it talks about a lot of very simple do it yourself home strategies that you can set in motion to help your blood pressure. Now, you don't have to be sick to do this. That's the wonderful thing about natural medicine. You don't have to get sick to do it. It's not like a drug. You only take it when you're sick. No, this is something you can start
Yeah.
today, tomorrow, and it's going to help you. The other good thing is that because of a common ground in the origin of all these chronic diseases, like diabetes, like high blood pressure, like kidney disease, like arthritis, Alzheimer's, etc., because of the common ground of all these diseases, when you start working on one from the natural perspective, all of the other ones are going to improve. In other words, if you start a program to to improve your blood pressure, you're going to improve sugar management, you're going to improve your mental condition, you're going to go away from Alzheimer's, you're going to you're going to be further away from heart disease and vascular disease. So that is the wonderful thing about starting a natural strategy. And once again, if any of you don't know exactly where to begin, send me a message, send me a call, give me a call, an email. I answer all my emails personally. And you're welcome to use our 800 number and call. It's going to cost you nothing. I hope I can help you to just be healthier and in much better health for you to live for many years.
Yeah. I know they can go to biocarehospital.com, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And there you can click, there's a situation where it says doctor at biocarehospital.com. That is an email that will come straight to me, and I will be very happy to discuss things. And you can tell me what your age, your weight, etc. And we can have a small chat and say, why don't you begin with this? And and people love it when they start doing it because they start feeling better and better.
Yes.
And once again, I'm not talking about anything new. I'm talking about something that's in the scriptures. I mean, we were told what to eat. Nobody told us, and I give you this can and I give you this packet. No, he told us, and I give you these plants and these fruits and these fish in the ocean and these animals for your nourishment. But now we're eating foods that come from a factory, and
Hmm.
they are preserved, colored, flavored, and it's a chemical assault that we're giving to our body. Very poor quality, very poor nutritional quality, and that's bringing us to a deficient and more deficient and more deficient condition, with a very high caloric and glycemic situation that's making out of one out of every two diabetic or pre-diabetic, and that's not the way to live a long, healthy, enjoyable life.
You know what's interesting too, and I think I've heard you say this before, but something as mundane as ordinary as a household chore like vacuum cleaning is actually, they have found to be a pretty decent exercise.
It is a fantastic exercise, and I'm not saying that. There is a very serious study done in England, in the United Kingdom, where they put two groups of people. One was doing household duties like vacuum cleaning, sweeping, taking the garbage out, doing the dishes, uh, doing everything, moving the furniture, do it well, move the furniture to vacuum clean and everything.
Hmm.
And the other group was put with a personal trainer on a gym, and they worked the same number of hours every day. One had a supervisor for cleaning, the other one had a trainer at the gym, and they worked for 2 hours every day. And the group that was doing household work did better than the people that were at the gym.
Wow. Why
So,
is that? Why is that?
well, one of the things that happens is that when you do household cleaning, you tend to move every part of your body.
Okay.
You tend to balance different parts of your body. When you're in a gym, you do a repetitive movement of the same muscle group. You see, this is like walking. When you walk on a treadmill, your foot will always drop on a flat surface. So the muscles are always going to be in one single position.
Hmm.
When you walk on a sidewalk, even if it's not in good shape, the sidewalk, when you walk outside, your foot takes different positions, the ankle moves, and that forces the body to use different muscle groups to keep the equilibrium.
Got it.
So it's more wholesome. It's more integrative than just to do a repeated physical activity.
Yeah, and I found that study to be really interesting. And another study that I had come across, and it was a while ago, that I had read about this, and what it was, doctor. From what I read, it blew a lot of doctors away because what they found is, say you had somebody that was not obese, but they maintained a little extra weight, less than 20 pounds overweight, and they maintain that for a period of time, for years. Another group of people would yo-yo. They'd go way up in weight, and then they would come down and diet, and then it would be back and forth over a period of time. The people that did the yo-yo with their weight, they were dying earlier than the people who just maintained the same type of weight all the way through, even though they were a little bit overweight. And that yo-yo effect they found is deadly, and it really
Absolutely.
really blew them away.
I absolutely agree with that type of report. It is very true. It is sometimes, and don't look at the numbers. Don't just look at the numbers, because if you go to body mass index, you might be a little bit up and above. But if you if you have a good lifestyle, that number should keep steady.
Yeah.
That means that you have a good routine. Whatever it is, it's a good routine. You don't lose, you don't gain. That is good. That is a good caloric balance. People that jojo are people that engage in probably some health programs, but then they forget about it and they indulge in
Mm.
things they shouldn't, and then they go back, and that's what gives you the yo-yo. So no, it's more important to be steady and irrelevant to the actual figure, but just to be steady. Of course, steady with, as you said, just some overweight, but not obese or
And
anything
not
like that.
obese.
Mhm.
I found it really fascinating, and I know that the researchers. This was like a 30-year study that they did, and it was a while ago that I was reading about this. It had to be 10, 15 years ago. I read that, and I was like, wow, I would have never have thought that. And so a little bit about your hospital. I want people to know. I think some of the things about your hospital I find really fascinating because it's unlike anything that you're going to see elsewhere. You talk about your kitchen being like 7 times bigger than your pharmacy, and it's restaurant like a 5-star restaurant. And when you look at your typical, well, hospital food, I mean, you don't want to eat a lot of that stuff, and it's really it's interesting too. I think it was Hippocrates. I hope I'm saying it right. It says, "Let
Mhm.
medicine be your food, and your food be your medicine." I guess you've taken that.
Absolutely. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, we couldn't do it without that. That's one of the reasons why we created this hospital, because we needed a place where we could control the food. Because I started by saying that there is an inequivocal link between your health status and what you eat and your lifestyle.
Yeah,
Well, you have to have a good kitchen. I mean, if you're going to give a prescription to a patient, it might start with arugula or with
right.
spinach or with fiber rich foods. So it is part of the treatment. You see, fiber, for example, which is the unsung hero of weight control, is just you just have to make sure you eat enough for those bugs in your tummy to help you deal with everything you eat. People that have excellent intestinal flora have they lose weight, they feel well, they're healthy, they look slim. We all know someone that we almost hate because we say, well, this person eats everything he wants, he eats like a horse,
Yeah,
yet he never gains weight. We all know someone like that and we almost hate that person. Well, it might be because of the uh, constitution, the variety of the intestinal flora. If we have a very good intestinal flora, we're going to be in very good shape. Now,
yes,
how we're going to feed that? We're going to feed our intestinal flora mainly with fiber. So, fiber-rich food is very important, like green apples, uh, cauliflower, broccoli. All these things are very good. Now, not everybody likes them, particularly because of our upbringing. And this is a call of attention. We have to teach our children to like those things
yeah,
because we all we give them is chicken nuggets or pizza. We have to train them again, particularly the very young ones, to say, this is yummy, this is good. But sometimes we give children something and we eat something different. I know a very good Spanish chef, and he always says, the food you eat is what your children should eat. The same food. You ordered something in a restaurant, make sure it's something your children can eat. So they learn to eat what they should be eating. And for that, what you have to do is I don't have soda pop, I don't smoke, I don't drink alcohol. In other words, I'm going to do what I want my children do because they do what you do, not what you tell them to do.
yeah.
So that is very
Great.
important. So in our kitchen, like I know I have uh, people that come here that they don't like broccoli.
Hmm.
Okay, I personally don't like broccoli, but we have our cooks where I sit with them. There's not one day, Kevin, believe me, there is not one day I don't spend some time in the kitchen.
Yes.
And I look at what they're preparing today. I know what they're doing. And sometimes I give them the challenge. I want you to give me today, prepare me something for dinner based on broccoli that I'm going to love, that I'm going to dream about. And then they start working on that and they give me something very good. Sometimes I say, I want you to make a dish, fiber rich, in very good situation, but I want to be something that's going to be astonishing and
Yeah.
beautiful, that I'm going to think that I'm a five-star restaurant. I don't know what you do, but show me that. And they do it. So we always do that. The other thing I do is we really go out of our way to please people. If you don't want to eat these because you don't like, I understand that. Okay, give me your options. What do you want? And we can cook in 15 minutes something that agrees with you, that's healthy for you, but that we can prepare. Because again, we we have more staff at the kitchen than at the pharmacy. It
Huh.
is easier to fulfill
It's wild.
some nutritional need than to fulfill a prescription.
Hmm.
And our patients rave about it. If you go to our website and you look at the comments, they always talk about it. I had a very funny lady that told me, I love the food. And every day I send a picture to my family and show them what I'm having for dinner and talk about
Wow.
it and rave about it. Every day they tell me, "Oh, mom, ask for the recipe." And I said, "Oh, sure. If you need any recipe, I mean, feel free to ask for it." And she says, "I won't, because I'm the one that cooks, and they will want me to cook every day all those dishes." So that was funny. But she,
Yeah, and I have your website right here, and what we're looking at is actually on your website. You can click on something that says recipes, and you have all these recipes that people can go and make at their own home. I think it's incredible. What hospital does that? I mean, that's so cool.
no, again, you have to do, like, for example, in the page you show it says chicken soup.
Yeah.
Uh, Chicken soup is not boiled chicken. Chicken soup is a complex dish, and I always say chicken soup is as good as your grandmother always told you.
Hmm.
It's just that you have to know how to do it. And you have to begin with what good quality chicken. You want to make sure that it's free range, that's not being fed chemicals, that's healthy, and so on. Number one. Number two, you have to make sure that it has skin, that it has the bones, that it has everything, that it simmers for a long time, because a lot of very important nutrients that are in the bone of the chicken are
Yes.
going to take several hours to leach out of the bone into your broth.
Yeah.
And for that, you have to do it very slowly for a long period of time.
My
And I
my
and
wife.
I give you the whole idea of what you want to do. Chicken soup is very good food. We don't do it anymore because nobody likes it. It's very badly prepared,
Mhm.
and it doesn't give you any nutritional advantage. So
Yeah.
learn how to do it.
My wife, she was doing bone broth for a while in a slow cooker, and number one, that would go for I think like 24 hours, where it would just slow cook. Now it made the house smell amazing because it smelled like chicken soup. It was really awesome, and getting the goodness and everything out of the bones and everything, it was incredible. It was really amazing, and it's really good for you too, like you were saying.
The bones contain a lot of good nutritional elements and a lot of bone growing substances. they have the bone marrow of
Yes.
the animal and so on. But again, it takes hours
Yes.
to leach from the bone into the broth. So make sure you do it very slowly. A slow cooker is a fantastic answer for that. You don't have to worry about uh, uh, having too much fire or less fire. It's going to take its time. You can do it for 24 hours, as you said, and you're going to have something that's fantastic. And that could be your base for any soup, for
Yes.
anything. We have to go back to the kitchen and cook for ourselves. Again, from the United Kingdom, one of the most respected nutritionists that I know, she always says you can actually eat anything as long as you cook it yourself. In
Hmm.
other words, you cook it from scratch, you get your ingredients, and you prepare them. Doesn't have to be fancy or sophisticated. You can have a simple salad, but make sure you do it yourself so you know what's in it and
Yes.
you know what you do not have in it. You are not going to have flavoring, coloring, chemicals, preservatives, sodium, etc. So
Exactly.
keep
I
the
got
pan
about a
small.
minute left, Doctor. Is there anything you want people to know before we go off the air?
All I want people to know is that yes, you can make a fantastic change for the better, that you can increase your health, that you can increase your energy, that you can increase your lifespan. That is all within your reach. It's really an arm's length only to get it. And if you don't know when to start, if you're confused about this, if you go to the web and you don't find the information that you need, give me a call. I answer personally. You can call the
Is there a
advanced number.
phone number you can drop real quick for
Yes,
people?
it's
I know there's a 800
800
number.
800 701 7345.
One more
Eight
time.
hundred 701 7345.
That's
Or
fantastic.
send me an email and I'll answer all of them personally. This is the most important part of my job today, trying to convince you that's within your reach to be healthier and feeling better and be with a lot of prosperity just by doing small changes in your life.
Dr. Rodriguez, thank you so much for joining us here. We'll have to get you back on again, as we always do, and talk about more health issues and getting healthy, staying healthy, and having a healthy life. You can, like I said, you can go to biocarehospital.com, get more information that way. And if you need to, just back up the video and you can get the information there, or go to the website. The email and the telephone number are right there on the website itself. I'm Kevin Gallagher. Thank you so much for joining us here for the last hour. And please tune in again next week to see what it is we'll be talking about. Until then, God bless you. Have a great night.